If you are just starting out on bass guitar, then you are in the right place. In this video, you're going to learn exactly what you need to get started without any of the confusion that so many students suffer from when they're just starting out. Now, to keep things clear and focused, I've split this video into 6 different categories. So with that said, let's get into it. Hey, it's Scott Devine here from scottsbasslessons.com, helping you take your bass playing to the next level. And on this channel, we focus on one thing and one thing only. We focus on bass. We do YouTube tutorials, we talk about gear and everything in between. So if you are new here and just starting out on bass, make sure that you slap that subscribe button down below. Now, before we get into this, there are also some accompanying downloads that you can grab, a drum groove that you can play along with, and also a fretboard diagram with all of the notes on as well. So if you want to grab them, they're totally free, and I've put the download link in the description down below. So the first category I want to look at is the parts of the bass. Now, the first thing I want to shine a light on are these things here. Okay, the strings, these pieces of wire here. This is a 4-string bass. It's probably likely that you have a 4-string bass. You can also get 5 strings, 6 strings, and hell, you can go wild, 10-string basses and all of those shenanigans as well. Now, for beginners, I actually recommend starting out on a 4-string bass because it keeps things nice and simple, and I am a huge fan of keeping things simple. Now, next up is the body. This is this hunk of wood here, okay? On the body, you'll find these things here. These are called the pickups. There's actually magnets inside these. The magnets pick up the vibration of the string and then feed it down the cable into the amp and then out of the speaker, okay? So that's what these things are here. Now, this is the bridge, okay? This is the bridge. This is where the strings anchor into the body here, okay? And these little things here that the strings go over are called the saddles. So the whole thing's called the bridge, and then these little pieces here that the strings go over are called the saddles. So next are the controls. Depending on what type of bass you have, your controls will do some of the same things and some different things, okay? It will absolutely have a volume control on it, for instance. Now, the volume control does what it says on the packet. It does the volume, right? Okay. Now, also, if you've got a 2 pickup instrument, okay, like this, you will either have a blend control, which I've got on this, or you might have a two pickup instrument that has a volume for each pickup. So that's the volume. We've got the balance, how to balance between the pickups, and then we've got a little what's called an active EQ as well. So remember hi-fis, okay? And on a hi-fi, you've got like a graphic EQ. Remember the old 80s vibes, okay? Well, this is that on a bass. So you can boost the bass, you can boost the treble, and you can boost the middles with these 3 knobs here. Now, your bass might not have them. This is called an active bass, which means it's got active electronics in it. And you might be thinking, well, how can I tell whether I've got an active bass or not? Your bass will have a battery inside this compartment if it is an active bass. So now the next thing is the neck, okay? Not this neck here, okay? So we've got the body and the neck is attached to the body. Now, on the top of the neck around here, this brown thing here, this is called the fingerboard. Now, in the fingerboard, we've got these metal things here, okay? These are called the frets. Now, it's the frets that actually give us the control to be able to alter the pitch of the string. Okay, so if I play an open G string, the thinnest string on your bass is going to be a G string, okay? I'm not holding it down. Now, if we put our finger behind the first fret, not in the middle. So many people will tell you to put your fingers right in the middle of the frets. I want it just right behind the fret, okay? If it's in the middle, you're gonna start getting the buzzing note. Okay, we don't want buzzing notes, okay? So you put it right behind the fret, okay? What are these things here? See these white dots? What's going on here? Okay, well, these are just called position markers, and they're just a reference point to let us know where we are on the bass, okay? So for instance, I know the first dot here is on the 3rd fret, the second is on the 5th fret, the third is on the 7th fret, 9th fret, and then the double dots is where the octave is, and that's the 12th fret. By octave, I mean, that's a G. If I hold down the double dots, I'm going to get that G an octave higher. Same note, right? Next up is this white thing here. This is called the nut. This is what the strings go over, okay? They go over the nut, that white thing there, and then they go into these things here, which are called tuning pegs, or some people call them machine heads. So this is what you tune your bass with. Now, these things are sat on this thing, right? This extra, it's part of the neck, obviously, it goes up here, but this part is called the headstock. So the next category I want to look at is plugging in your bass, okay? So you understand what all of the parts are, okay? How do we actually get some sound out of it? Well, you're gonna need 3 specific things. Number 1, you're gonna need a bass, okay? So hopefully you've got that down. Number 2, you're gonna need a cable, okay? A cable, it's a jack cable, and then we're going to need an amp to plug into, okay? So your amp might look like this, or it might look like a small combo amp, which is where the speaker and the controls are all within one unit. So you get your bass. First of all, I want you to get your bass and just plug it in to the jack socket, like so. Make sure it's in there properly. A common mistake, even for pro musicians, is putting it in the jack socket and not pushing it in hard enough. Okay, so make sure you've got it. Then you get the other end, and then you put it into your amp, like so. And we should have, okay, some sound. Great. I've got a gain and master volume on this amp, but if you're just starting out, you will probably just have one volume. Now, also on your amp, you've got a bunch of different things. So let's talk about these and what to do with it, because when I see beginners play, they generally get this bit a little bit wrong and dial in some crazy tones, and we want to literally, pun intended, dial that back a bit, okay? Dial that back a bit. In general, an amp will have a treble, a middle, and a bass. Treble, middle, and bass, okay? Now this amp has a low mid. Yours may have it, may not. It's all good, right? What I want you to do is set the bass at 12 o'clock, the mid at 12 o'clock, and the treble at 12 o'clock. This means that your tone, you've got a flat